Do we make the move? Oh, there you are. Oh, my headset.
We're such fucking nerds.
That's how you do it. I would be the worst assassin. I'm so fat I wouldn't be able to jump off a ledge. I jump off, I get back up. All right. So,
I'm pretty flexible for a big guy, so I think I would do all right. I would need to lose more weight, but I think I'd do all right.
well, you do somersaults very well. That I see.
Somersaults.
Yeah,
I've never done a fucking somersault.
Just in front of me. You do.
When the fuck have you ever seen me do a somersault?
So today what we're doing is we're getting into Assassin's Creed. This is a huge series, so we are not going to be covering the like side scroll.
Yeah.
Forget it. It would take. First off, I don't think I played most of them. I think I played one or two. So, but to just add them on, it'd be like 20 Assassin's Creed games. So we're going to do the main titles,
the main console and PC ones.
Yeah, which I know some people will probably like argue Rogue because it was like an old gen when Unity came out.
No, Rogue counts. It's a main title.
Yeah, I liked it too.
It's a main title in the series. Yeah.
So these are the 12 that we're going to talk about. And today what we're going to do is back and forth kind of what our least favorite to our favorite is. And we're going to kind of break it down. We'll do 4 and 4, and then 4 and 4. And then the last 4 titles, the 4 best for each of us, we will go one by one to keep it exciting and suspenseful. And don't worry, if you're watching this, there's going to be footage of the games that we're talking about playing. It won't be this whole screen this whole time. So anyway, I'd say we get right into it. I'm going to let Robbie do his 4 worst games. And I think both of us said that we agree that none of these games are horrible.
No, none of these are horrible.
I wouldn't even say bad.
Some of them are boring
or not all there, half-baked ideas, things like that. But I really don't think any Assassin's Creed in the main line is bad. I played bad games. These are not bad games.
Yeah.
But there are games that are better in the series. So we're going to talk about that. So Robbie will go first. He'll be starting his list off. What is your number 12, sir?
It'll be your number 12 because you're going first.
What?
Yeah.
No.
It's your channel after you.
Oh, fine. So my number 12 is, wait, I even put your name first. All right. My number 12 is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And the reason why I'm just joking.
Fuck you.
Right. Assassin's Creed Unity. This by default to me is the worst, only because it's just not all there. It's a game that was ambitious, probably one of their most ambitious games in a while. It didn't come out yearly. It was supposed to be like kind of stopping that whole thing. But what Unity tried to do and what it did do are two very different things. You played it more recently, so they probably fixed some of the bugs and stuff. But when I played it, when it came out, it was buggy as shit. And I don't know if I was high back then. Probably. It was not. I gave it a very good score. It is not an 8.5. At best, I'd say Unity is around a 6. Some really cool ideas. The new combat engine was something different. It tried to do more of a slower paced combat system, and the world and the way you interacted with people was really cool. But it was glitchy. I liked the main character, but I can't remember a single thing about the story. And the online was ambitious, but nobody played that shit because that shit kept freezing up on people getting stuck in glitches and things like that. So ambitious, but definitely the most broken and messy game.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. And so going to number 11, this one will be for me, Assassin's Creed 1. Now, if you haven't seen our debate video, is Assassin's Creed 1 a classic? Obviously, being that's number 11, you know my answer. But Assassin's Creed 1 is what I call a perfect blueprint game. It's the game that set up all these other games to be better. And it's not a bad game. It's just a game that was trying to set a new style of gaming. Kind of like Grand Theft Auto 3 set that sandbox era. This tried to do something like that. And a lot of games followed Assassin's Creed after, but it just wasn't all there. The main character was terrible. The writing wasn't that great. The game itself was very repetitive in the mission structure. Saying that, I do have memories of being super excited for this game. I think that since it was created, it brought some of my favorite games I'll get to later in the series. And it was ambitious. And I always give games with ambition some credit because in a lot of games just copy and paste others. Assassin's Creed was really trying to be a bigger, better Prince of Persia, but at least it tried to make this open world, basically Prince of Persia. And it succeeded somewhat, but not all the way there.
Fair enough.
All right. So this is very little fight back here. I thought you were gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
I'm just I'm letting you get you through your 4, and then I might say some stuff.
All right.
Well, no, actually, I'm just gonna say my 4 so that you can attack me, and I'll be able to have a composure and show that I am respectful of your opinion, and then you will not respect mine.
I won't do that.
Sure, we'll see. I know my list is probably more controversial than yours. Yours is probably going to fall in line more with what the ratings actually are, the average scores, and how the general fan base sees them. But I think mine's a little more controversial.
I don't know. Let's see. What do you think?
At least for the bottom half.
Well, what do you think my next one is, and see if it aligns.
I honestly am going to say that it's either 3 or Black Flag.
Revelation. So Revelation is one of those.
What?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because I was watching my reviews because I haven't played a lot of these games in years, and the instant I watched that review, it like flooded back to me why Revelation is on this list at number 10. Revelation is, to me, a good game. I think it's a nice send-off for Altair. I think it's also a great send-off for Ezio. Story-wise, I enjoyed the ending of Revelation and the start of it where Ezio's just like, I'm tired of this shit. I liked all that. All the middle, so boring. It was so boring, and it started flooding back to me where I'm like, yeah, besides those couple of cool set pieces, it was just boring. And oh my God, I don't know if you played it recently, that RTS minigame, holy shit, that shit sucked, where you had to stand on the rooftop and like command your army to stop them going to the gate. Oh,
that was not great.
So they took that shit right out of us straight after that. And it was just a game where I felt like it just kind of wanted to do a send off to these 2 major characters in their franchise before jumping on the 3. Yeah, take that off. Take it off, you sexy beast.
Take off it all.
But yeah, it's a game I enjoyed for what it was, but it's definitely one that doesn't I don't know what's the word, hold any great memories for me, or it's not one I remember like, oh my God, I loved it when I played it. So that's my number 10. And my last one for the bottom 4 is Assassin's Creed 3. So Assassin's Creed 3 is probably of this whole list, probably the most disappointing title. It's not that it's a bad game again, I keep saying that, but it's just that it was not what we hoped for. It was the game to be the next step after 2 and the trilogy and all that, and it just failed. Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, it failed. It gave going from one of the best main characters in the whole entire series, Ezio, to Connor, who honestly, like, I think I block him out because I think I hated him that much. Now, what sucks is I like the era that it's in. I think it's really cool and fascinating, but they didn't do much with it. Like, I felt like it was a wasted opportunity for what they could have done for that era. And the graphics were good, except it was massively glitchy when it first came out. Even in my review, I'm showing a clip of it, and my fucking guy like gets stuck in a building, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So yeah, Assassin's Creed 3 is what I call a beautiful mess. It has, again, great ideas, but I think, I don't know if they rushed it or whoever was developing the system around it, the engine, but it was not there yet. So yeah, 3 is definitely one of the biggest disappointments, if not the biggest of the entire franchise for me.
Okay.
All right. Hit me with your number 12, baby girl.
The number 12 best Assassin's Creed to me is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I know you're fucking with me right now.
I'm not. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is at the bottom of my list because I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the most bloated Assassin's Creed that's ever come out, and I also think it's the most boring. And that to me is an issue. Let me be clear. I don't think Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a bad game. I think Cassandra as a character is really good. The little bit I played of Lexios is okay. Cassandra definitely has a much better voice actor,
Yeah.
and she's more vibrant. Um, and the story was okay. However, that world is boring to explore. That combat is incredibly boring. That combat is incredibly boring. I probably put a good 40, 50 hours into it. And by that time, I was just done. The world, like I've said this, that world is too big. It's too bloated. It's a very pretty game. It's a very pretty game. I would like to eventually go back to it to see maybe if it would kind of spark my interest in it again. Because they did do a Series X update for it. And it is very, yeah, it's probably the most colorful Assassin's Creed. I will definitely give it that credit. It has, the art design is terrific. But for me, like I look at all these games on this list, and I'm looking at them all, and to me, a lot of it comes down to the combat systems. If I didn't like the combat in Assassin's Creed, I would get bored of it, and it would not hold as much weight for me. And that to me has a lot to do with, we were talking about earlier, the cinematic feel. I think finishers in Assassin's Creed are a huge quality of it that it's always been since Assassin's Creed 1. And I feel like when there's a lack of them, or if they just don't look like they animate well, or if they just don't feel badass or look badass to me, I lose interest, because you're seeing them so much that if they're not strong enough for me, I feel like that I'm going to lose interest in that game quickly. And Odyssey, I think, had a few, but even still, Odyssey, I think it's the most boring Assassin's Creed. And again, I have respect for it for what it was trying to go for, but to me, it was far too bloated, and I lost interest with the story due to that.
Well, if it wasn't an Assassin's Creed game, do you think you'd like it more?
If it wasn't an Assassin's Creed game,
Yeah, because I hear people always say,
I've heard that mentioned. Yeah,
yeah, like if you don't think of it as an Assassin's Creed game, it's a lot of fun. And I always found that interesting because I guess, like, I don't know, when I was playing,
possibly.
I felt like Assassin's Creed, but not so much. I guess I was more of a warrior, even more than Valhalla. I still use the stealth more in Valhalla than I did Odyssey. So,
The problem with Odyssey for me is that skill tree also sucks. Like a lot of those moves that I had, it's the same thing to Valhalla. I would pop the same 3 or 4 for 20, 30 hours, maybe change one out. And it was just a rinse and repeat cycle. And to me, that got very boring. And that's my issue with Valhalla and Odyssey. I just feel like it doesn't hold weight for me because I feel like I'm doing a rinse and repeat cycle. I feel like every fight's the same. I don't feel like the hits are impactful. And that's the issue I have. And like I said, a lot of the Assassin's Creeds to me come down to the quality of the combat. Again, this is just my opinion. Not everyone's going to agree with me. My opinions on the Assassin's Creed series differs from a lot of other people's. So for that, Odyssey is, I think, the 12th best game in the series. And
so
I don't want to say the worst, but I will say it's the weakest. And number 11 would be probably, as you guessed it, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, I was very excited for Valhalla when it was coming out. As you know, I'm a big fan of Norse mythology. I love Vikings. And I enjoyed it for the first 15 or 20 hours. And then it started feeling the same. And then I started progressing through the skill tree and I started seeing, oh, there's actually not as many skills here as I thought. There's really fucking nodes to give me 2% more critical damage, which I know is an RPG-like thing, but you know what? Like systems like The Witcher do it a lot differently, where it's rune stones. It doesn't take up a fucking node on the skill tree. I think there's some aspects of Valhalla's story that's interesting. The stuff with Sigurd. I'm sorry, not Sigurd. Is it Sigurd?
Sigurd, yeah, your friend or your brother, or whatever.
Well, I know Sigurd is one of Ragnar's sons from the show, so I don't know if it is Sigurd. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, I think the stuff with him, yeah, your adopted brother is cool, or rather, you're the adopted brother.
Sister.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed some aspects of Valhalla. I thought most of the world looked pretty nice.
He's got to be down here. Where are you hiding?
But again, it suffered from the same issue I had with Odyssey. I don't necessarily think that it was a bloated issue as much as the world. I think the world was an okay size because I think it's even smaller than Origins.
No, Valhalla is the biggest in the series. Which was like, remember that was
not. It's definitely Odyssey. It has to be Odyssey because I've seen Odyssey as one of the biggest maps of all time.
It's Valhalla. Remember, I sent you that article, which I thought was like, why are they making it even bigger? He first said it wasn't going to be as big, but more to do. Then he said, no, it is the biggest map in Assassin's Creed. I'm like, why?
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I'll look it up because you might be right, but I remember.
I'm pretty sure it is Odyssey.
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure Valhalla. I know Valhalla. Valhalla is either bigger or smaller than Origins. I know, or around the same size. But
yep, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the biggest map. You know why? It's because they have a whole nother fucking. Did you get to the extra land, the Vinland?
No.
Okay, so after you leave the ice place, you know how you go to the main England map or whatever. Then there's a fucking Vinland, which is its own map, and then it's that fucking god.
Well, I know they have the DLCs too, where like you can go to Ireland.
Oh, they added that too, Jesus.
And you can go to Paris. Yeah,
oh my god.
DLC. Yeah, so yeah, maybe it is the biggest with all the DLC. But nonetheless,
Must be getting close.
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Valhalla for like a good 20 hours, and then between hour 20 and 30, I was like, maybe I can change up my my loadout, different weapons. Maybe that'll change things, and it did for a few hours. But then by the time I reached hour 30, I really started feeling fatigue, and I started losing interest in the story because I lost interest in the combat. By hour 40, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna mainline this shit like enough. I'm gonna stop doing as many raids. I'm gonna stop doing as many side quests, and then I started going through the story, and I didn't have enough of an interest. And by hour 50, I was done. And it's a shame because I love Norse mythology and I love Vikings, and I think Eivor as a character was decent. But again, it just, like Odyssey, it felt too bloated to me, and that's my two main issues with Valhalla and Odyssey. I feel like they're far too big.
I don't think you're alone there. I think
No, I'm definitely not alone.
When the games changed after Unity, or not you Syndicate to Origins and Valhalla and Odyssey. Yeah. There's a lot of people that don't like these style of games. I was one of them until Odyssey, and I can understand why. I definitely agree with the bloatedness. That's my main complaint for all three of those games, but severely in Odyssey is probably the biggest issue I have with Odyssey. But I'll get to why later. But that's my only major issue with Odyssey. The story itself I thought was okay as well, but there's a lot I like Odyssey. But anyway, it's
but yeah, like in Valhalla, like again, the same thing with Odyssey. Like I was like, oh, like to decapitate heads and like cut arms off, whatever. Like, and yeah, like you see that, but it's the same finishers. It's the same 2-3 finishers for the one-handed axe. It's the same 2-3 finishers for the longsword, and some of them are really cool, but then some of them are like, that was anticlimactic. Nonetheless, moving on. The 10th Assassin's Creed to me is Assassin's Creed Unity. So I actually got Unity recently, and I started again on Series X. It performs definitely a lot better than on a base PS4. But I like Arno as a character. I think Arno as a character is really good, and I think his relationship with his girlfriend, I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah, that was really good. It was cute.
Yeah, it's cool to see that she's a Templar. He's an assassin, and just the struggle that
Juliet.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Unity because I haven't played enough of it. But from what I did play of Unity, I did enjoy it. It definitely has some issues. It definitely has technical issues. It definitely has issues. And but from what I played, I did enjoy it because I think the customization options for Arno are deep and cool. Like you can really customize every piece of armor on him and make him your own. I mean, that was a big thing when it was coming out. Like create your own assassin, create your own outfit and loadout and whatnot. But I will eventually go back to it because I I was enjoying what I played of it, and it definitely seemed interesting to me. And that time period of the French Revolution is very interesting to me. But I won't go too much on Unity because again, I haven't played enough. But from what I played, I did enjoy it, despite it having some technical issues and control issues,
Yeah.
and here and there. But from what I did play, I enjoyed, and I will probably go back to it. This might surprise you. My ninth best game, or rather, my ninth best Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed One. Um,
Oh, that
I
does
think,
surprise me.
yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be higher, but looking at all the other games above it, I couldn't, in good conscience, put it higher because while I do think Assassin's Creed One is a classic in the sense for what it did for me, um, the other games on this list are better made than it,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Um, I love Assassin's Creed One. I think what it did for me at that time is fantastic, but it is very bare bones. It's a very bare bones game, and I realized that because I just replayed it, 2-3 months ago. Um, it is definitely a bare bones game in that sense. But the reason um, it is in my top 10 is because I still love the combat. Assassin's Creed One. I still think it's incredibly cinematic. I think it's brutal, and I still love Altair as a character. While he is not maybe the most depthful.
Is that a word?
I think it is. I don't know.
We'll just go with it.
Well, let me just say, like, while he doesn't have the most depth as far as the rest of the series protagonists, I do respect Altair as a character, and he definitely, gets better with writing, in Revelations. But, yeah, I mean, you guys know I do think Assassin's Creed One is a classic just for what it did, and it was obviously the start of the series. But I can't in good conscience put it higher because the other games above it, I can definitely say I enjoyed more.
All right. Well, we have one game the same. Unity. Unity is in the top 4 worst. So for both of us. Saying that, it's going into the next section, the 8 to 5. I think this was the hardest for me to choose the order because these games I all
Yeah,
liked
I
in
would
some
agree with
way or
that.
another. I already knew my top 3 and kind of my 4th, but I had no clue what I was going to pick really in order for my 5, 6, 7, 8. So with that, I'm going to go right into my number 8, which will be, let me write in here. Assassin's Creed. I love that they all have the same name, so it's always suspenseful. Here we go. Ready? Rogue. Rogue, I actually just played a year ago, right? When did I buy it? About a year ago. And I like Rogue. So this is for me, after 3, honestly, these games I all pretty much liked. Now it's for me to judge which one I like more, which is the harder part. Rogue has a really cool idea where you actually a Templar, right? You turn to the side of the Templar.
Shay is first an assassin,
And then it becomes a Templar.
and then he becomes a Templar. Yeah,
It's such a unique idea that I was like, why didn't they think of this sooner? It's also, I feel bad for this game because Unity came out and that was the new gen consoles, and Rogue came out on the last gen consoles, and nobody was like, oh, who cares about that? We have Unity. Then they played Unity and just disregarded Rogue, which is a shame. So Rogue got like remastered or something like last year or 2 years ago. Or it came out on the Xbox One and PS4. Anyway, it's a good game. It's a lot of fun. The only thing I think that I didn't enjoy in it was they took Black Flag's combat with the boats and stuff. But Black Flag made that exciting when you did the boat battles. The Rogue, I hated the boat battles. If I could fucking avoid them, I really did. I just fucking beeline to the main mission because the main missions were really fun. But the boat shit sucked. Taking over the bases was cool. I liked hunting animals. All that was great. So they took elements from 3. But and I like Shay. But yeah, the boat missions were terrible. So that's why it's my number 8. My number 7. Sorry, I have it in order the wrong way here. My number 7 is. What do you think my number 7 is?
Black Flag.
Origins. So Origins, if you see my review, it's kind of this game where it's super ambitious. And next to Unity, it's probably the most ambitious because they wanted to change everything. Did it work for everybody? No. When I first played it, I fucking returned it to GameStop the next day. I hated it that much. But I went back last year, played it, and I was like, wow, I'm having a good time. I really enjoyed the characters in this. Not just the main character, but I enjoyed multiple characters, which is a surprise in Assassin's Creed. I really enjoyed the combat was different and it was fun. And I really liked how I feel like it's one of the best mixes of stealth and one-on-one combat, which is nice. This is to me was like Assassin's Creed kind of mixing it well. And then all the different armor pieces and shit that you can get, like the headpiece and all, really cool. So really like
that's not in Origins. They didn't add that until Odyssey.
No, I had
Origins has different outfits. I mean, like there's upgrades. Like if you use Bayek's outfit, it will actually show like the upgrades, like of his bracers, his chest plate, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like Odyssey where it's more
like a piece by piece. Okay, so I know I had like some fucking wolf helmet for once. I was like, I look like a badass. So yeah, Origins was cool. My main issues with Origins, it felt kind of like a floaty combat system. I felt like it was the beginning of this new combat system, so they're still working out the glitches and the engine that they use. I don't know which engine or combat system was good, but not great for me. It felt very much like almost like I was playing like an old RPG, like a Western RPG mixed with action games. So it didn't fully work for me. I also think Egypt is like the most boring fucking place to explore. It is absolutely the worst map for Assassin's Creed for me. I had no interest exploring this place. I had no interest in the side missions really at all. I thought what was cool is they were mostly funny, but they were also just boring. Whereas the main missions I really enjoyed. So yeah, I liked Origins. I just think that it was again the start of the new Assassin's Creed, and it wasn't fully there yet. And then, did you want to do two? You do two now, and then I'll do my two, and then you do your two.
No, please.
No, that way we can go back and forth. It's more fun that way.
Okay. 8 and 7.
Yeah, 8 and 7.
First off, I would like to state that what you have said about Rogue and Origins is blasphemy. Number 8. The number 8 Assassin's Creed for me is Assassin's Creed 3. I think Assassin's Creed 3 was probably one of the most hyped games, if not the most hyped game in the series. Probably more so hyped than 2, because 2 was shown off at E3 and people went bonkers because that's when they showed the stuff with Leonardo da Vinci, with the glider, and they showed the ability to the dual hidden blades and all that.
Yeah. Well, you know why? I'm sorry, not to interrupt. The reason why is more
how dare
hyped,
you interrupt me?
The reason why it's more hyped is because it was coming off Assassin's Creed 2. So coming off Assassin's Creed 1, 2 had to really up the game. Assassin's Creed 3, all it had to do was be as good, and it fucking found.
Well, it wasn't coming off of 2 because it was Brotherhood, and then there was I think Revelations was before as well. Because it was 2009 was AC2, 2010 was Brotherhood, and 2011 was Revelations. That's 3 years everyone was like, "Where's Assassin's Creed 3?"
That's what I mean. Like it was the next, like the third game. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 after fucking 52 years spinoff.
But yeah, nonetheless, Assassin's Creed 3 is I think the 8th best Assassin's Creed. I enjoyed Connor's character.
No fucking way.
I absolutely did.
No, what happened? What happened with Connor? What happened in the story that you remember about Connor?
Connor's very somber. Connor's very somber. He very much reminds me of almost like an Agent 47, who I adore. He doesn't have the most depth, just like Altair, and that's why they are 8 and 9 respectively on my list. Because a lot of my list also comes down to the protagonists themselves, and how much I love them and enjoyed them. But I did enjoy Connor. I don't think that he is incredibly well written. He doesn't have a whole lot of personality. But again, it goes back to how I felt about Altair when I first played Assassin's Creed 1. I think he is, quite a badass. I mean, he's the only fucking assassin that uses a bow and arrow. Oh no, I mean, well, at least he's not the only one because had
well,
it back in Origin.
but you're right.
But at that time,
Yeah.
he was like a hunter assassin, like a true hunter assassin. And not just that, but there's not a whole lot of protagonists these days that are Native American.
That I will give it. And then they fucked him up. Like, you get a Native American character, give him some really great backstory. Instead, I fucking would take Altair because at least Altair was Batman. This guy was just fucking lame. He was fucking boring. Like, he was literally boring. Like, they're like, what are you going to do to help? He's like, I will do what I can. What the fuck? Bitch!
I loved his voice actor.
Oh.
I think his voice actor fit him perfectly. Yeah, I knew there was going to be a lot of controversy here. Yeah, go ahead and be an emo little bitch. Number 7 on this list for me is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I did not finish Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I actually just got it yesterday, as well as Origins. I actually played Origins for 4 hours this morning, and I've really been enjoying it. But number 7 is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I played Assassin's Creed Syndicate during a very bad time in my life. I was not in a good headspace when I was playing it and when it came out. But from what I did play, I remembered enjoying it. I did not finish it, but I'm obviously going to go back to it. I bought the DLC as well because I was able to get the gold edition on sale for cheap. So.
Oh yeah, I saw that, like $24, and it comes with like a fucking million things.
$15 actually.
Oh, $8.99 for the regular. That's crazy.
Yeah, 15.
I picked that up.
15, and I heard the Jack the Ripper DLC is actually really good.
Oh, is it? Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did enjoy Syndicate quite a bit. This is when they started changing this is when they started experimenting with the combat system. Because like Unity, you could tell they started flowing a little bit. But Syndicate is where it almost has almost a completely different feel than the previous Assassin's Creed before it. And I do like the Fry twins. They were a bit annoying to me at times, but I thought the concept of their hideout being like a fucking train was really cool. I actually really liked Jacob as a character. I think there was some lines where he was really funny. I like the dynamic between him and Evie, where he's very humorous and joking, but he's like a fucking great assassin. And then Evie is very
straight. Yeah.
She's very composed, and
hot
and conservative.
Yeah. Oh, you're telling me she ain't hot?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm saying yes, she is. But of course, you had to fucking mention that.
Booty. Okay, got it count. Booty.
Ridiculous.
I gotta find an image of her booty.
Yes, I love Evie as well. Evie, is also a badass, and I really enjoyed her as a character as well. But yeah, the Farchins, I think, are I definitely like them a lot more than Alexios and Cassandra. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I really enjoyed what I played of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I think the combat is really refined in it. I think the finishers in it are very good. I think the concept that they introduced was stunning, was really cool to be able to just stun like 2-3 guys at once and multi takedown on them. I think that was really awesome. And I think just exploring London and the Industrial Revolution era, was really cool. There was definitely some issues with it, some technical issues, some combat issues I had here and there. But from what I played, I really did enjoy Syndicate. So for that, it has to be number 7 on my list.
Funny enough, my number 6 is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So everything you said, I actually agree with like almost 100% about Syndicate. It definitely has a couple of issues with the glitches. I even I watched reviews.
Syndicate?
Yeah, Syndicate. That's Syndicate, but spelled James way. Fuck, hold on. Let's go back.
Literate. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. Is this how you spell it?
Yes.
There you go. Good. You happy now? So no, I really do agree. I had a glitch in my review where I'm trying to find a character and the fucking guy is underground, like literally in the ground, and I'm like, what the fuck? But
Unity and Syndicate, yeah, that was a bad time for Ubisoft for Assassin's Creed in terms
yeah,
of their games.
I don't know if it was the engine they were using or what, but anyway, but like you said, I really liked the twins. I really liked the area. It was one of my favorite actually.
Very cool.
What it worked really well is that the stealth worked because a lot of warehouses. So it was cool to be like fucking going in a warehouse.
You had the zip line.
Yeah, all that was super cool. So I really like that. To me, it's actually a great Assassin's Creed. It's just that it kind of is for a forgotten one. I feel like not a lot of people bring it up, but I really enjoyed it.
It's definitely forgotten one.
Yeah, I think it's because it's.
I don't even remember where it takes place in like the outside story. Like I don't know where the world story takes place.
Oh, the fucking world story's fucking garbage.
Like is it? Like yeah, like I think about Unity and Syndicate. I don't know. Yeah, where the outside world story.
I don't even know what the outside story of fucking Valhalla was. I just played it like a year ago.
The only ones I know is like Desmond's story and Layla's story.
Yeah, but do we really? Like I beat the game. I was like, what the fuck ending is this? Like I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't like the outside shit. Anyway, Syndicate, I mostly agree with everything you said. I just liked it, I guess, a little bit more than you, but overall, I agree. And my number 5. What do you think? Assassin's
I know what it is.
Creed 2. So Assassin's Creed 2, the reason why it's on here is
what?
I scared you there, didn't I? Black Flag.
That's what I
thought. Your face, you're like, what the fuck? So Black
I was
Flag,
like, there's no fucking way you were gonna put Assassin's Creed 2 5. There's no fucking way.
I'm gonna tell you why Black Flag is a little bit higher than I would like. And
yeah, I'm honestly surprised it's that high for you.
I like Edward. Motherfucker's funny. He was funny. He was funny. He was cool. He was.
I think
badass.
he's the funniest.
Yeah, that's
I think he is. I think he is the funniest protagonist in the series.
I'm gonna mute you when I talk. Just joking.
I let you talk over me and interrupt me when I was saying my shit, and now you're gonna come at me with this shit.
No, I agree. He is really funny. I think it was much needed after Connor, like 100%. Put that little finger up your booty hole. Now listen here. We're talking about Edward, and it's not nice to give him the middle finger. I really like the world. I think this is the second most colorful world in Assassin's Creed. It's a lot of islands, a lot of like almost like Caribbean, almost in a way.
It is the Caribbean, you dumb fuck.
Okay, there you go. So that's why I liked it. I liked it. But the two things I cannot stand in video games, what are they?
The two things you can't stand in video games?
What can I stand? I say it all the time.
Pirates and pirates.
Okay, you got one, pirates. I fucking hate pirates. And 2, I fucking hate battling on ships. I hate ships. I hate flying. I hate helicopters. All that shit sucks. I don't know why people like this shit. It is so badly fucking done. Anyway.
So in other words, you're a boring human.
No, I like the combat in this game, except the ship battle. The combat in this game is probably the
I don't know what you're talking about. Those ship battles can be fucking thrilling at times.
That shit's
thrilling, especially when your ship is upgraded.
And
when you're boarding a fucking ship after you've taken them down, that's fucking great too.
Yeah, doing it 5 million fucking times is not though. Like after the
definitely gets repetitive, but again, I think every single Assassin's Creed on this game has a gameplay loop where it can be repetitive.
It could be
every single one.
It could be repetitive.
Every single one.
Listen to me. The reason listen.
No.
The reason why is because you have to go through these slow fucking ship. You have to fucking travel. It takes forever. It's like Wind Waker, but at least Wind Waker was pretty. What?
You can fast travel.
Yeah, you can fast travel after you go to the fucking area. So you got to go.
Well, of course. You can't fast travel to a place you haven't been to.
I know, but it's not fun to travel on the boat. It's just boring. So that's the only reason I don't like this.
You're full of shit because those sea shanties are incredible.
But the combat was really good. I think this is like the accumulation of like 2 Brotherhood, Revelation 3, 1, they all led up to this combat system. I think it's even better than Rogue, and Rogue came out after. One thing I liked about Rogue, that fucking grappling hook and bringing them forward. But Black Flag, it just love the main character, love the combat, love the world, don't like the ship stuff. And the reason why I can't put higher is because I don't remember the fucking story. I don't remember the story because it's fucking pirates, and I fucking hate pirates. They're the lamest goddamn like group of like coolness, like you know, it's vampires, zombies, and then it's fucking pirates, and pirates are fucking lame and they talk stupid. Anyway, that's why it's number 5 for me. Come on,
Fuck you.
yeah, that's right.
Fuck you.
What's your number 6?
As I said before, pirates are cool as shit because they eat, drink, fuck, steal, and kill.
Oh, good. So they're fucking murderers, rapists, and
they're the fucking gangsters of the 1700s. You dumb shit.
Gangsters are losers.
Yeah, we both know you believe that isn't true. Or rather, we both know that.
All right, what's number 6?
The number 6 Assassin's Creed to me is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Okay.
I spent 4 hours playing this again this morning. I also got it on sale yesterday. I got the $100. I got the $100 edition for $20.
Look at this shit. Our 6 and 7 are the same, but flipped. That's funny.
6 and 7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. How about that?
That's pretty funny.
I just thought Origins was a little better than Syndicate, and you thought Syndicate was a little better than Origins.
Yeah, I'd say they're almost the same for me. I like
The reason Assassin's Creed Origins is number 6 for me on this list is because I actually really love Bayek as a character. Obviously, this is the freshest one in my mind since I just spent 4 hours playing this morning.
No, he's great. He's really well written.
I think Bayek is the. You know, it's weird. I think that he is probably my 3rd favorite protagonist.
Yeah, I would put him up there.
Yeah, I think he is easily my 3rd favorite protagonist in the series because I love his voice actor. I think he's very well acted. I think his brutality in the combat itself, but also in the cutscenes, might be the best in the series.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Dude, like that, I was watching that cutscene this morning whenever you're killing the Ibis, and he's like, "Who?" I was like, "Who are you, father of nobody?" And then, like that motherfucker just takes the orb and just is like, "Nobody." Here, and he just beats the living shit out of him. Like it was a fucking Kratos moment. It was outstanding. So good. Cool. But yeah, I adore Bayek as a character. I think he's awesome. I just think he has a really great voice too.
Yeah.
It's very iconic and it just sounds good. But yeah, I think Origins is easily my 6th favorite Assassin's Creed. It is easily, obviously, my favorite of this new trilogy. I think is the best made one. I love Egypt as a place to explore. While the desert, you think, yeah, there's not a lot to do. But you know what? I think this probably has the best side missions, the most interesting side missions of this new trilogy. I think that Egypt as a place to explore is beautiful. It looks simply jaw-dropping on the Series X. It does not run in 60 on Series X, unfortunately, which is bullshit because they did a 60 FPS update for Odyssey.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't do Origins. They talked about it, but it still hasn't come out. So it is still weird that it runs in 30. This is probably the first game I've played 30 FPS on my Series X in a while.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, it is odd. But nonetheless, yeah, Origins is definitely number 6 for me because I really love Bayek as a character. I think he is outstanding.
I guess you're number 5?
I think the combat is the best of the new trilogy, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of it because I did not like it when I first played it. I'm like, this sucks. And then very much the Mass Effect scenario, I stuck with that. I continued to play it, and I really enjoyed it. My second time through, I fell off of it just because other stuff came out. I didn't fall off because I got bored. But playing it for a 3rd time, I feel really invested into it. I'm gonna try to do less side stuff, but my issue with video games like this is I like to do every side mission. I like to see all the lore and stories of the world and characters. But I'm definitely gonna stick with it and see it through this time. And I have the DLC, and I heard both DLCs are terrific, so I can't wait to see it through. Yes, you can guess my number 5.
Revelation.
Nope.
Wow. Wow, you have Assassin's Creed Revelation in your top 4?
Yep.
How long has it been since you played Revelation?
It's been a while, and
it's been a while.
And it's also been a while since I played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which is my
But you're
number 5.
gonna sing that with me.
It's been a while
Since I last saw.
I can actually kind of sing a song.
Okay.
The reason Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is not higher on my list, it probably would be, is because I didn't play enough for Brotherhood. I definitely felt like I had some fatigue of Assassin's Creed when I first played it.
Yeah.
That does not speak to the quality of Brotherhood at all, because a lot of people say Brotherhood is either the best or one of the best Assassin's Creeds in the series. But I did enjoy what I did play Brotherhood, and I got the Exio collection recently too. Funny enough fact, I now own every single Assassin's Creed on my Series X except for Odyssey, which is fitting because I think it's the most boring out of all of these. So.
Oh, did you buy Rogue as well? You bought Rogue?
Yeah, I bought Rogue as well. I started it a while back, but yeah, I own Rogue as well. Yes, I'm going to go back to Brotherhood and try to see that through because I know you have great admiration and reverence for it. So I really want to see that through. And as you said, the story is great for that. So I really want to see more of it. And like I said, when we in our game of the year when we were doing 2010, it's the height of Ezio's career as a master assassin, and I definitely want to see that aspect of his story. But yeah, I did enjoy what I played at Brotherhood. The reason I put number 5 is because I feel like it should be here. It is a continuation of Assassin's Creed 2, and Assassin's Creed 2 is an amazing game. So for that, I think Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is top 5 for me, the best Assassin's Creeds.
All right. So now we're in. Well, we were going back and forth, but now we're going to go one by one because these are the final 4. So Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is in your top 5. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is in my top 5. I think most people in the world would agree that one of those games or both are in their top 5.
I know 2 of them in your top 4. I'm definitely not agreeing with because they're at the bottom 2 for me.
So,
which I cannot believe they're that high for you.
So Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yep.
So the reason why I'm putting out, did I spell Odyssey wrong? No, I spelled it right. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So this game, kind of like what you were talking about, this came at a certain time for me. I wasn't really gaming much at that time, and you kind of told me, "Oh, I enjoy this game. It's fun. It's not great, but you enjoy it." I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I hated Origins. I was like, $20, $21.99 on PlayStation 4. I was like, fuck it. Let me buy it. What's the worst it could be? It's $21. Played the first couple hours, like, I like Cassandra, but the world and the combat still was a little off for me. And then I got past that first big battle, and I was like, oh, this is really fun. Like you fight in that like war zone or whatever. And then
the conquests.
The conquest.
Those are cool. Yeah.
Not later, but in the beginning it was cool.
Not later.
And then I don't know what happened, like a switch or something. This fucking guy came at me, and I did that bull move where like I just run into him and fucking knocked him off like 100 feet. And I was like,
the rush. Yeah.
This game's fucking great. So I feel
I still think the Spartan kick is usually the best skill.
Or the Spartan kick, like so. What I think this game is a really weird game where it is just so zany. The things you could do in this game are crazy. It definitely feels separate from the other Assassin's Creed games in its own style. Like even the art design is so different in every Assassin's Creed for me. Unlike you, where you say you didn't enjoy going through this world, I really enjoyed it. It's the best part of the game for me.
I enjoyed aspects of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I loved it. I loved going through the world. I loved the look of it. I was really invested in like going through everything, like the caves, the temples, the big ass fucking structures. I guess this was what was this era?
It was Greece. It was the Peloponnesian War.
Yeah.
I think it was like I think it was 3000 AC. No, it's around 3000. 300 around 300 AC.
Yeah, it was just great to me. I really enjoyed exploring this world. I enjoyed the combat. I didn't take it like it was an Assassin's Creed game. I did a lot more one-on-one combat or multiple fights at once. I didn't stealth as much, and I was having a blast. So when I think of it, it's a weird game where I don't know if I rate it as one of the best Assassin's Creed, but as a game, I was having a blast. Like you said, though, this shit is bloated as fuck. The problem with this game is that it's trying to be like Witcher, but it doesn't have the writing of Witcher. So when you come
Hell
to
no.
a guy and you're talking to
Not
someone,
even
they're
close.
like, make a choice. I'm like, why? Like, who cares?
Yeah, that whole dialogue tree they put in,
Yeah, it doesn't. It might.
it was silly, and that's
It,
why they well somewhat took it out in Valhalla.
well, in Valhalla, you make a choice that actually affects the next scene. This,
Yeah.
you make a choice, nothing changes. I don't know. Just it felt again, like I keep saying, it had ideas, too ambitious for its own good. But as far as exploring the combat, I put like 50, 60 hours in this game. I didn't beat it because I just didn't know how to
It's
get to the
fucking
next.
long. That's
Well,
why.
I didn't know what to do next. Like you had to like level up, but I didn't know where to go to get more levels. I don't know. It was
Yeah, that's where I kind of reached the point where I was like, I don't know what to fucking do next. And I was
yeah.
like, this is too boring for me. I'm gonna stop. I think I put like 40 hours into it.
Yeah, there were things that definitely could have been better. I think it was trying to be too much like Witcher at times. But saying that, when I played it, those 50 hours, about 49 of them, I was having a fucking grand time. So it's got to be this high on my list because I had some of the most fun ever in the entire series playing Odyssey for me.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What's your number 4?
Number 4, my fourth best Assassin's Creed for me is Assassin's Creed Revelations. I think Assassin's Creed Revelations is a very well-made game. I think it's a definitely forgotten one for sure. It definitely has some issues like the RTS segment that you actually reminded me about. I did not enjoy. And I did enjoy the meat of the game from what I remember. And I'm definitely gonna go back and see it on the Ezio collection. I also thought it was really cool to see Ezio as a 60-year-old man still fucking shit up. I think that was great, and not just that. Revelations has some of the most brutal finishers. I think is the most brutal Ezio that we've seen, and that's the reason why I think it's so high on my list. Is that this is definitely Ezio at his most brutal state.
He's old.
He's very old. He's lost a lot at this point. He's reached a point where he's not really giving a fuck about the world anymore. He's basically just trying to wrap up loose ends, and I think he's trying to find all the rest of the pieces of Eden. And you also get to see an older Altair in this, right? Or no, not an older Altair, like as a flashback or something like that. But
Older, yeah, he's like, well, the first 2 flashbacks he's still.
well, Altair was not alive. This is just like Altair
Flashback.
like him like spirit,
Yeah,
because Altair was not alive because this was like what 1500. Altair was alive in the 13th century, but
yeah, no, this is he was having like visions. And the first 2 flashbacks he was young, and then the later flashbacks he was much older, Altair.
And I enjoyed that in the story. I thought the flashbacks were really well done. I thought they were well written, and I think that's why it's so high for me is that I get to see, 2 of my favorite protagonists in the series meeting and interacting with each other. Like when I played it, that was great, and I love the combat Revelations. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's incredibly brutal. I think that grappling hook that you get was not a grappling. It was more like a hook, like a sky hook.
Yeah.
And you could use that combat to do some fucking brutal finishers. I really enjoyed what I played in Revelations. I can't wait to go back to it. I just think it was awesome too. Like I said, playing as like a 60-year-old or something Ezio. I thought that was excellent, because this was the height of his career. Well, not the height, but this was the downtrodden of his career.
Yeah.
Where he's tired, he's old, he's exhausted. He's just trying to, wrap up loose ends at this point. Yeah, I really enjoyed Revelations, and that's why it is, definitely my 4th favorite Assassin's Creed.
I think it's a good send off, but I think it has too many downside to it.
Yeah, and I think Odyssey's boring as fuck, but it's your number 4, so.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's an amazing game.
Those
Number,
Revelations.
No. So number
Odyssey is definitely not an amazing game.
Number 3 for me is Assassin's Creed 2. So Assassin's Creed 2, definitely, if Assassin's Creed 1 got me into the series, Assassin's Creed 2 made me a fan of the series forever. 2, to me, is the Uncharted 2 effect, where it improves every single thing about the first one and just makes it so good. Ezio is not only one of the best main characters in the series, but I think he's one of the best characters ever in video games. His name people recognize the second you say it. He's the standout character. He's a Master Chief, or he's a Commander Shepard, especially for our generation. Maybe not so much the young generation now, but back in the day, this motherfucker was everywhere. When you saw that cloak, you were just like, oh, that's Ezio, what up? And really, when I think about it, no other character in the series really stuck with you like Ezio. You might like other characters more, but there's no character that had the fame of Ezio. Like, Edward was cool, but he didn't have.
Well, he also had 3 games, so
that, and this is true. He did have 3 games, but I really feel like just after 2, people were talking about him as one of the great characters. It's just that,
yeah, but I'm saying that's why he got 3 games, and like he has the most exposure throughout the entire series, so that's why.
He definitely has that benefit that he has 3 full games to tell a full-fledged life story. But even in this game, I thought it was great. You really get emotionally attached to his family, and then horrible things happen, and he becomes an assassin through kind of loss, and kind of like Spider-Man almost. And he's funny, he's quick-witted, he's very, very brave, like that, like, you know, protect people style. I love that shit. The suit he wears in 2 is phenomenal. Like, when they first put that on the box art cover, I was like, damn, I want to wear that shit. So yeah,
Brotherhood, I think Brotherhood might be his best one, because that's his master assassin.
Yeah, Brotherhood's the best, which there's still 2 more spots there for me.
Yeah, I know what 2 and 1 is. You don't gotta tell me.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I absolutely know what it is.
You might be surprised. And so
I swear to God, if you do I'll never speak to you again.
I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed 2. The combat, the story, the mission structure. I didn't do that fucking mission you talked about, the one they added.
Dude, maybe you're right. Maybe I can skip it, or maybe I just don't. I don't know. But like,
I hope so.
I really hope I can fucking skip it, because that fucking mission I was doing when I played it last year, that fucking sucked.
Yeah, it takes you. It really. I hate having bad main missions, because it really takes you down from the gameplay. Well,
it wasn't a main mission. It was like a DLC type segment, unlocked memory. It wasn't part of the main game itself, because remember, the main game, it skips ahead like 3 or 4 memories.
Thank God. That sounds horrible.
This was just some bullshit of like, kill this motherfucker on this boat. By the way, you get seen. You're fucking done.
I hate that shit. So I'd say Assassin's Creed 2 is my number 3 best Assassin's Creed. It really made me a big fan of this series.
My 3rd best Assassin's Creed game is Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Wow.
Yep.
Holy shit, I forgot you even named it.
And the reason for that is because Assassin's Creed Rogue is a continuation of Black Flag, in the sense that Black Flag took Assassin's Creed 3's ship combat and made it better and more refined and more expansive. And the combat of Assassin's Creed 3 made it better, more refined, and expansive. And then Rogue took it from Black Flag and did some different things here and there. You know, Shay and Edward don't fight completely alike. You know, similar, but not completely alike. But I really enjoyed Shay as a character. I thought, where were you exploring that was like an icy area?
Yeah,
it wasn't Alaska. It was, I'm trying to think.
I remember what you're talking about.
Somewhere. Yeah, but
fucking whales. There were whales in
yeah, because that's another thing of the Black Flag and Rogue that I really loved. I loved hunting. I thought the hunting was really cool. Like being able to hunt with the harpoon and all that shit. Like, I thought that was really cool. But yeah, you hunt like fucking narwhals.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Hunting Black Flag, like, it was really cool, and I really loved Rogue, and I really love Shay as a character. I think he has one of the best stories of any protagonist, because it is the only protagonist in the series that starts off as an assassin and becomes a Templar. I don't want to give too much away, and also because I don't have it fresh in my memory, so I can't quite remember the particulars of the story. But from what I do remember, I really enjoyed it, and I think Shay's character is great, and he's got a great voice and a great accent. And as you know, I'm part Irish, so I really enjoyed Rogue. I really did. I think the world of it too is great. I love the ship combat. It is not. I don't feel like it's as gritty as 4's. Definitely similar.
Yeah.
4 definitely had more expansive ship battles, but I still enjoyed rogues. Yeah, so for that reason, as you said, probably the forgotten Assassin's Creed. I definitely had to put Rogue as my third favorite because I really enjoyed it, and I think the idea of just playing an assassin turned Templar that starts hunting down assassins, I think is really cool.
Well, I did really like Rogue, not quite as much as you, but I did like it for pretty much the same reasons you like. I think I just dislike the combat of the battle on the ships and stuff more. I
Well,
did
that's a
like
big
the
thing for you, yeah.
Yeah, and I did like the hunting though. That I forgot to mention. I really do like the hunting aspect. It's really fun to just like jump on a fucking wolf and stab him in the
Yeah.
face. So number 2. You want to go first, or you want me to go?
After you.
You sure?
I will be honestly, I cannot believe if you do this.
So Brotherhood took everything I loved about 2, and then it did it better, and so that's why it's higher than 2. Brotherhood also added things I really loved, like actually having like your army. You had an army of assassins in this game, like you can call them on in battle. And it also had, like you said, Ezio at his best, most like master assassin. So he had the best moves for me, the best moves in the entire series. And also, I really liked the start of this game. I thought this game had the best opening where should I spoil it? I don't know if you remember it. I'm gonna spoil it.
Oh yeah, like no, Ezio's his villa gets attacked.
His
and
villa
like
gets attacked.
why
Mario's
doesn't his
like,
wife get killed?
no, Mario, his uncle, who's like your fucking best friend in 2.
Don't say Mario. You're not in New York anymore.
He's a Mario, and Mario fucking dies right in front of me. He's like, no, and
They
then
don't even say Mario. They say Mario.
Mario, whatever the fuck, and he gets on top of the thing and he just gets blasted away, and you're just fucked in the beginning. Like you get fucking wrecked, and I love that. Like I love having all this great shit you gained in one, and then have to rebuild your life. I love his family, his sister and his mother being a big part in this game as to get him back to that mental state of being a true like master assassin and badass. I loved exploring in this game. I pretty much loved almost everything about this game, to be honest. The suits were badass, the weapons were great, the mission structure was great, the story was great, and that's why it's really my number 1. Because it is just can't be topped. It really can't.
Piece of shit.
It is so good. Whereas number 2 is Valhalla. And I know you personally had a lot of issues with
Please
Valhalla.
write Assassin's Creed Valhalla. My obsessive compulsiveness is bothering me there. I can't stand just seeing Assassin's Creed, and just Valhalla.
There you go. Happy?
You piece of dog.
So Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm just gonna go really quick because we've already discussed it so much. What for me?
I'm
Valhalla,
honestly surprised that it's your number 2.
yeah. You know what the thing is.
I'm honestly somewhat shocked that you put it over 2.
You know what I think Valhalla really hit me is because 1, it was the first like next gen game I played. And
that was one of the first for me too.
I mean, when I first was going through the Iceland area to the new land, England, I was actually like dumbfounded how beautiful it looked. I was stunned,
Nice.
almost like a movie at that point. Like I was just sitting back, like, holy shit, this is graphic.
No wonder you were going to bat for it this morning so hard when we were
Well,
talking about Origins and Valhalla.
Well, I'll get to what I meant about that more of the comment, but the stunning graphics. I really liked Eivor. Is that how you say her name or his name?
Eivor.
I really liked her. I thought the voice acting was more balanced this time. I played with both the male and female, and they were both good.
I just played male, but I heard female was good.
Yeah, she was good. She kind of had that like tough attitude. It was a little over the top sometimes, but I really liked it. One thing I really liked in this game were the side characters. I know you didn't personally get too attached except for Sigar. I think that's his name, actually. I think you were right. I really did. Sigar's wife was badass, where she set up like the plans for you to go out and destroy, and then you can kind of take her on dates, fuck the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Shit. Lesbian love.
I definitely did that shit. I would do it 4 consecutive times.
It's so good. No, fuck that. But I really enjoyed a lot of
Come
this
to
game.
me.
And
Come to me.
oh god, he's getting out of control. We got
It was the same fucking cutscene every single time.
yeah.
Come
Well,
to me.
man, games need to fix, like, if you're gonna do a relationship, do something new with these characters. But yeah, so what I was talking about earlier with the combat, I thought this was kind of like taking the old Assassin's Creed where they were more cinematic, but adding much more cinematic feel to it. I felt like this was a lot more like an epic movie feel combat. Like when I was going in head first, just chopping people's heads off, doing finishers, switching weapons mid combat, and doing new finishers. The way the camera angles were was a lot more cinematic. It didn't feel so like RPG-ish. Felt more like the old action style Assassin's Creed. Yeah, just everything about this game really resonated with me. I think the hunting was really fun. My major issue was that there was no fucking point to it. You just got a fucking trophy.
Stupid.
I wish like you could fucking kill those big tigers and put that fucking shit on you. But yeah, I really, really love the combat. I never got bored of the combat. What I did get bored was the fucking side quest. Again, like Ubisoft, you just either got to hire fucking writers to write better side quests or don't put them in the game.
Or how about just make a fucking smaller game? For one, start there, and then you can create a better story because you're not spending like fucking hundreds of man hours making this boring ass big open.
I don't even need a smaller game. I need a smaller main mission, and that's my biggest thing. I don't mind all this extra stuff because I can just skip it. But in this game, you really have to do a lot of it to be able to stand against the stronger enemies later in the game. And I like the raids, but I didn't like the other stuff. You know, like that's the problem. Like I like the raids, but you only do them like once every 4 or 5 hours.
That's what I mean. Like there's more side missions than there is main story, and that's my issue with Odyssey and Valhalla. That if the main story was longer and there was less side stuff, it would be a much better game.
I think my problem with this game, the major issue, I said it in my review, the main story is too long. So I skipped all side quests after 26 hours. I remember because I said I'm not going to do any more after this.
Told me, yeah.
And it still took me like 30 fucking hours to beat this main story. I didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why? Why does it have to be
still too long
hours of a story? Like, we just don't need it. But
you know, maybe it's just me because I love The Witcher 3 and like the main story in The Witcher 3 is like 70, 80 hours. So maybe it's just like an Assassin's Creed issue.
It could be. I mean, funny enough, that's kind of why I dropped Witcher 3 is because the main story just wasn't ever seeming to end. So I just kind of gave up. But at the same time, I'm not stupid to say that Witcher 3's writing is 10 times better than any Assassin's Creed, really. Really, the only ones that come close to the writing for me for Assassin's Creed and Witcher would be something like maybe 2 or Brotherhood. But anyway, to sum it up, I like Valhalla a lot. I thought it's the best of the new series. And I like the setting a lot. And I think it's mostly because this is the next-gen game and it ran really smooth. Some glitches here and there, but overall, I really
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, when I first played it, my console hard shut off twice within the first like 10 hours.
See, I never had a Valhalla.
That scared the shit out of me. A brand new Series X, that scared the shit out of me.
You know what that does happen to me when I put the game on, when I don't shut it off completely, when I do instant on. Like sometimes it's flawless, like I just jump right back in. Sometimes my system just shuts the fuck off. But you know what? That's something with the new consoles because my PlayStation, I fucking went to the menu screen. And I went back and my game just shuttered and then it just shut off my system. I don't know what the fuck's happening. Anyway, Brotherhood, #1. Definitely my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Near flawless to me, honestly. Now, I haven't played in like, I think the last time I played was like 2013. But I really loved it. And I do want to replay that game. If there's any game on this list I'm going to replay, it's going to be Brotherhood. I don't know if I'll play any of these with the exception maybe Unity just to give it another fucking go. But Brotherhood.
You were just saying that you'd like to see Syndicate again.
I do, but I was so close, like, to beating it. Like I was like 2 missions away, and I don't know if I can replay it all to get back there. But Brotherhood, flawless almost. So it's like a 9. I give it a 9.5 out of 10 all those years ago. I still agree with that. So yeah. So what's your 2? Well, obviously I know you're fucking 2 because it's the 2 last games.
So what is the order?
Assassin's Creed 2, and then Black Flag.
You are correct. Assassin's Creed 2 is my second favorite Assassin's Creed. Fitting enough. Assassin's Creed 2 is a very well-made game, and it was probably like my most hyped game like ever at that time. Well, at least since God of War 2. I had very high hopes for Assassin's Creed 2. Take off that UNR, you fucking dick. Assassin's Creed 2, yeah, is an outstanding game. You know, this is our introduction to Ezio. Fuck you. Yeah, I love Assassin's Creed 2. I have a lot of reverence for it. I have a lot of love for it. It's very well written. It definitely has some low points here and there. But still one of the best voice lines to me is being able to throw money, because you could actually throw money.
Yes.
And they would all come scurrying over and just go in their Italian accents, money, money, money.
Money, hey!
Yeah, I still love Assassin's Creed 2, despite, you know, that issue I was having with it last year. Yeah, it's a fantastic game. It's very well made. While the glider segment was very cool at that time, replaying it,
I tell you, man, these extra
sucks.
fucking things they do, like gliders, helicopters, all that shit sucks.
Like having to like keep your fucking draft above like the city streets, and you have to fly over each fucking brazier, and to keep your draft up so you can keep flying to this fucking villa. It fucking sucked, and it controlled like shit.
Why do they do that?
Again, whenever, like as a kid, like because I played this when I was 15, 16. Cool as shit, really cool. Playing it as a 27-year-old man, not great.
It's like Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna lose your shit.
But I like it. I love Assassin's Creed 2 a lot more than Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh yeah,
but that is vastly better game, vastly better made game. I know it came out 8 years later than Kingdom Hearts 1, but nonetheless, Assassin's Creed is just a better series than Kingdom Hearts. I said what I said.
No, that's 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 2, fantastic game. I still love it. I'm obviously definitely going to go back to it with purchasing the Ezio collection. But yeah, and I can't say enough good things about 2. I love it. And my all-time favorite Assassin's Creed definitely has to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And you would think, just as like the traditional sense of Assassin's Creed, assassin, like environment and everything, all that cool shit, you'd think Black Flag wouldn't fit that well, but it actually does. I think Edward as a character is terrific. He is probably my favorite protagonist in the series, because he literally starts from nothing. He doesn't start as a privileged boy, like Ezio. Like, he is literally just a fucking lowly pirate, ship hand.
He's a bitch.
And yeah, sure, yeah, okay, yeah. Edward starts as a bitch, and becomes the best assassin in the entire series.
No.
Yes.
Not the best.
Yes.
Nah, you know how he died?
Yes.
How'd he die?
Edward?
Yeah.
He had like a heart attack or something.
No, man. Shay's father killed that bitch.
Shay's father?
Yeah, they're all connected.
What do you mean Shay's father? Shay Cormac's father?
Yeah. That's the fucking guy from Assassin's Creed. From Edward's story. That's the main bad guy.
From Shay's story?
Yeah, it's like Connor,
it
Shay,
might be, because you
Edward
you
all
wrote more recently than I did.
Something like, I don't know. It's a little. I had to look it up on Wikipedia. So Connor, Shay, and Edward all relate somehow. And Shay's father was the one who killed Edward. I don't know. It's like fucking confused. I gotta look.
Are you sure it wasn't Hatham that killed Edward?
You know what? It might have been.
I think that might have been. I think Hatham might have killed Edward.
Hatham's the one that started.
And then Connor ends up killing Hatham. Just this fucking endless cycle of sons killing their fathers.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I don't know. I gotta look it up.
That's what
Anyway,
it was.
they
Yeah,
all
but
connect. So.
nonetheless, I think Edward would probably be my favorite protagonist. I think I don't know if he's necessarily the best written. I think Ezio might be the best written, but I think in terms of who I enjoyed more as a character, it
Yeah.
probably would be Edward.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. People
The
love
reason,
it.
yeah, and the reason I think Black Flag is my favorite in the series is because I think it has the most enjoyable world for me. Maybe this is just my Caribbean blood.
Cuban.
Yes, Kuban.
Cuban, you say? I could
Yeah,
say
and
that
not
all the
just
time.
and not just that. It's I think Adewale was a really great character, and I actually really enjoyed Freedom Cry. I played Freedom Cry a few times when it came out, and Adewale is a fucking awesome dude.
Oh, is he the guy on the ship? Your
He's
second
a
in command?
slave. He's a slave that Edward saves. A
Yeah,
Haitian
he becomes
slave.
your second in command.
He becomes your first mate.
Yeah.
And Freedom, he actually recruits Adewale as an assassin, and Adewale actually becomes an assassin. And I think he actually appears in Rogue as
Oh,
a
shit.
master assassin, I believe. But yeah, I really love Black Flag. I have so much love and reverence for it, and I can't wait to go back for it. The real world story is not great. You literally are playing just like this aimless, wandering person who doesn't ever, and it's not great. But again, the base game, the meat that is Assassin's Creed, is so good that I just didn't care about that real world story bullshit.
Yeah.
Black Flag to me is a terrific game, up and down. I still think just free diving off of your ship, and fucking fighting sharks and all this other bullshit while treasure hunting is just fantastic. There's so much customization in it. The weapon variety is fantastic. This is when they first introduced dual wielding guns as well as swords.
Mm.
But because Connor had the knife and the axe, and
and the run kills and shit. That shit.
Yeah, but they didn't have like full on dual wielding
Yeah.
like swords and guns until 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I adore Edward as a character. I really loved him, and I would definitely say Assassin's Creed 4 is my all-time favorite Assassin's Creed because I think it has the best world. I think it might have the best overall story for me. I'm not sure. I think 2 might still take that, but I really love Black Flag, and it is definitely my favorite Assassin's Creed. I think, and I think when I will replay it, I think that will still hold up.
I think our lists are pretty different, but I think that also is a testament to
the middle.
series.
The middle is it's what I thought it would be. I thought the middle would be different, and I thought the last 4 and the first 4 would be different.
Yeah, you know what the thing is, Assassin's Creed has so many different style games that it's almost like an anthology. Like if you don't like one, that's okay because you might like the next one.
That's the great thing about the series,
Yeah.
and that you're going through generations of different assassins throughout different periods of time, and that's what makes it such a unique series.
Yeah, and I think what resonates most, like you said, is once you get attached to the character in that series. I think that helps a lot, or the world. I think those are the 2 major factors. If you like the character or you like the world, because honestly, a lot of the gameplay in all these games are very similar. They tweak them here and there, they change here and there, but they're very similar, especially like the sets of games 1 to 3, 4 to Unity and Syndicate, and then the new ones. But you could or you're liking Origins a lot more upon replaying. Whereas
I really enjoyed what I played this morning.
Yeah, and so I think what saying that is that these games all feel different, so everybody will have a different favorite. I think though you picking Black Flag and me picking Brotherhood, I would honestly say that's probably one of almost anybody would probably answer with one of those 2.
That was the height of
or Assassin's Creed 2. I think those are the 3 that most people would choose.
From 2 to Black Flag, I feel like was the height of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do real fast before we end this video, I'm going to bring this over because I think this is fun. We're going to look at the highest rated games in Assassin's Creed and see if we agree with them or if one's way higher than it should be. So right off the bat, Assassin's Creed 2 obviously is the highest rated. Surprisingly, Brotherhood is right behind.
PS3 version is the highest rated one too.
Yeah, well, The thing is, I think with PS3, it was a stronger console than the Xbox, so it probably ran a little bit better. Or it just had less reviews. So sometimes I get lucky. So Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood are the top two, it looks like. And then Black Flag. So that's what I was saying, where I think those three are the kind of the ones that most people would probably pick as one of their favorites. In comes Odyssey at number.
Surprised Odyssey is so high. Honestly.
Well, you know what it is too? It's that I think Odyssey was. I've had people tell me they love Odyssey, but don't like any other Assassin's Creed game. And I think it's because Odyssey is so different than Assassin's Creed, all the others, even the newer ones.
There's not even a hidden blade in it. It's just a spear. Yeah.
So I think, like I said before, I wonder if people would enjoy it more if it was just Odyssey and not Assassin's Creed. So I always found that interesting.
This whole new trilogy, I feel like it could very well be not Assassin's Creed, because to me, like my memory of Assassin's Creed, of the stories and just like as true assassins, like it literally ended, like I would say, after
Syndicate.
Well, did Rogue come out after or before Black Flag? I think it came out after. Yeah, it did. It came out after.
It's for Rogue.
Yeah, after Rogue, like that's where it's really started going downhill for me in terms of like I feel like there's not like a true assassin story anymore. Like somewhat with Unity, and then Syndicate, but I feel like in terms of just like a really well written story and really strong combat and really strong worlds, I felt like it started to go downhill a little bit after Rogue.
I think they definitely teetered a little further away from stealth, which when you think assassin, you think stealth.
Exactly. It literally got away from what Assassin's Creed was known for.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
these are action RPGs, Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla.
Which is why I think that people are split on
no stealth. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Odyssey, I can see why it's that high. Damn, we gotta hit 2 every fucking time. We can't just show more. Okay. Okay, what the fuck?
Assassin's Creed 3 was very well received.
The fuck it was?
No, it was. No, it was well received.
Yeah, let's see how the fans thought. Not so much. I am actually surprised at that. That's that high.
That's why I put it higher on my list than I thought I would, because I thought it did some interesting things. And when I remember what I told you, when I did play it, I did enjoy it despite its issues. And I know you did too.
I did too. I was also young.
But going at the time that you did play it, like looking back on it, I don't think it's as great as
I think part of me was caught up in the hype though. And that happens. There's games where I play them, I love them because of the hype. I'm like, no, it's great. And then I'm like, oh, maybe it wasn't that great.
Wii was still the best version of it too.
Fucking you, man. Origins.
Origin.
I think it definitely won its, stake there. And then Valhalla. Wow.
Yeah, that seems to level out to me that Odyssey is the best received of this new trilogy.
Yeah, which is interesting because when I look at comments, I still see Origin probably getting the most love. And I think it's because the first game that really changed.
I think critics liked Odyssey the most, and I think fans liked Origins the most.
Yeah, I feel like that.
And Valhalla is like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. And then there's Assassin's Creed 1. So really, some of our middle games here, Rogue, Unity, Revelation, none of these are... Okay, there's Revelation. Damn, Revelation 80%.
Wow, it's lower than original Assassin's Creed. That's surprising. Look at Valhalla for PS4.
Wow, Syndicate 78?
Syndicate was not incredibly well received because that's when they started to change the combat system. And a lot of people did not like those changes.
Jesus, it's not even where the fuck is Rogue? Is Rogue even here? Shh. There it is. It's on the PC as the highest rated version. I don't think Rogue deserves to be that low.
No, it does not. And Freedom Cry doesn't deserve to be that low.
Oh, come on. No fucking way is Rogue lower than Unity. No way. That's ridiculous. Well, I'm interested. Look at that. Look at that. So that just goes to show. What about Unity? Shit. That's the only negative one I've seen. Okay, so it's clear to show that critics, like you said, are kind of aligned with fans in the best Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, or 4 are considered usually the best. And I think fans will probably agree. But yeah, so that's our list. I think it was fun. I think it's fun because it's just
Yeah, it was.
vastly like when we do our Halo one, I feel like we're gonna agree on a lot. I really do.
Yeah, well, we both agree that Reach is the best one.
Yeah, and here it's a little bit more hard because there's so many of them and they're so vastly different. So yeah, I would love to hear your guys' opinions. I want to know if anybody has fucking Unity as number one. You would blow my mind.
I would like to hear that person.
Yes, and
I would like to
why.
hear if you think Unity is number one.
I can't imagine. I can't. But so I'm just gonna show our list one last time. So there's Robbie's top from 12 all the way to 1. Let's take away the S. There you go. Happy?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
You
here's
didn't put 4, but that's okay.
yeah, that's great. Happy.
Yes.
And then my list right here, which is we're vastly different in some spots, yet some were like either 1 or 2 different, which is pretty cool.
How proper my list is. I got the colons, I got the Roman numerals.
Oh,
spaced
good for
correctly,
fucking you.
and all this bullshit of like spaces and numbers.
I'm a little crap, baby. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any comments, leave below. I would love to see your list. If you haven't played them all, that's fine. Just put the ones you have played. I can't believe I played so many street games. And you guys enjoy. Say goodbye, Robbie. Be nice.
I meant to say that Odyssey is my favorite.
We're gonna just fucking end it.